Is there any particular significance to this set of release?
Well, deadline day, and surprise, there are no bombshells, really. It's only a fraction, heavily redacted. A lot of this we've seen. People on both sides of the aisle, politically, are angry that this doesn't comply with the Transparency Act. But the DOJ is saying, because of the sensitive material, they have to slowly release this. It's going to be on a rolling basis. They admit there are hundreds of thousands of files short. We see Bill Clinton there. I was in touch with Clinton's team overnight. They pointed me to the statement that says this isn't about Bill Clinton, never has, never will be. There are two types of people here. The first group knew nothing and cut Epstein off before his crimes came to light. The second group continued relationships with him after we're in the first. They go on to say that no amount of stalling by people in the second group will change that, and everyone, especially MAGA, expect answers, not scapegoats. There are celebrity pictures in this release, but it's no secret that he traveled in this atmosphere of people. So what we'll really have to do is see, as they roll them out, if there is anything of hugely significant importance.
Historically, Donald Trump's base have been quite sort of enraged sometimes about the fact that Donald Trump had links with Jeffrey Epstein. But do you think there's an element that as we see more and more photos of more and more people who have been involved with Jeffrey Epstein, that almost kind of neuters the issue a bit for Trump, almost paradoxically?
Well, I think, as you said earlier, being pictured in the presence of Jeffrey Epstein does not imply any kind of guilt. It's no secret that he walked amongst these, leaders of the world in business and politics. But I think you really have to find out, was there a crime committed? Do any of these pictures signify that somebody pictured was up to no good?
Hello, I'm Bev Turner. Now, it can feel like the money in our bank accounts at the moment does not keep up with the cost of living. And maybe there's a solution. I'm here today with the CEO of TallyMoney, Cameron Parry. Cameron, what is TallyMoney?
Well, Bev, with TallyMoney, you get a current account and a debit card, but instead of pounds, you use milligrams of gold as your everyday money.
So why gold?
Gold traditionally is a great store of value. It has, on average, gone up at over 11% per annum for the last 25 years against the pound. It's tripled in value in the last decade. And in the last 2 years alone, it's increased by 50% against the pound. Banks' savings products just can't compete with that level of growth.
But this isn't just about gold. This is about a currency that you guys have created at TallyMoney. Explain it to me as though I'm an idiot.
So, look, people need to be able to hold their earnings and build their savings in a money that retains its value and remains in their legal control and remains theirs to access, away from government control.
Great. You had me at not exposed to government control.
You should feel safe and happy with your money. You should have peace of mind the more money you see in your bank balance, and that's the type of thing we're trying to deliver and give people choice in the type of money they get to use every day.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Cameron. Thank you.
As we're saying, the pictures, as we understand it at this point, don't imply any wrongdoing at this stage. But I think a lot of people looking at them will say, look at all the redacted elements that have come out from this DOJ release. And there will be a lot of people who've been urging for these images to come out for so long who won't be really satisfied by anything, especially if they see all these black lines, all these black boxes, all these redacted elements. Do you think, Chapman, that could fuel more speculation and perhaps more conspiracy in the US?
Well, I'm sure. The fact is, they say any redactions are made to protect victims. That said, there's always going to be people who doubt the legitimacy of what they're redacting. And if you don't see it before it's redacted, you don't know. So I think Epstein has always made conspiracy theories. And I think the more information that comes out, possibly more conspiracy theories will develop. And whether or not they're theories or whether or not they are true, it's anybody's guess.
I mean, the sheer volume of photos is extraordinary, isn't it? We have all of these images, and that's only 10% of the total. Why are there so many pictures? I mean, is this Jeffrey Epstein blackmailing, planning to blackmail?
Well, I mean, it seems he documented his interactions with the most powerful people on Earth in all walks of life heavily. You know, it said that he had secret cameras. It said, you know, that there's this book of, you know, his client list that has yet to be out. It seems that he did document every aspect of his life, but again, what do we know from a photograph? What does it mean? You know, it's no, like, everyone knows that he was doing this with these people, so.
Still no smoking gun, as it
No
were.
smoking gun, no bombshell yet, but, you know, there are hundreds of thousands to come.
What do you make of these recent release of pictures and files? There's a hell of a lot of them for a start.
Hello, Don. Thank you for having me on. As you said, it's ongoing, isn't it? I mean, the one thing I'll say about the picture of Andrew, the ways that he's laying down, and as you mentioned, it's interesting if that is Sandringham, because obviously that would have been somebody that would have gone quite often. It's interesting because anyone else looking at those pictures, you would think, oh, it's just somebody having a good time, you know, a party, a bit of fun. Because of the backstory, and as you've mentioned, he's not guilty by any means, but because of the backstory, it's got us all kind of wondering, and it's like putting a jigsaw together, isn't it? Where you've got more questions than answers.
I mean, and that's the problem, Grant. I mean, it was like 300,000 documents were made public overnight by the US government, and there are more to come. I mean, and it does include, we have to say, countless images of naked young women.
Well, exactly. And this is, again, going back to why, you know, a lot of people have said to me over the last few weeks, why do I think the king removed his brother's titles, and for what reason, if he's innocent? And my only answer is the king has got some of the best advisors in the world. They know exactly what they're doing. And there has to be some reason for those titles to be removed. And the sad part is there's probably more and more going to come out, and potentially then maybe it'll be a case of more questions with answers, but then it could become even more serious, which is why the king and the royal family, I believe, have distanced themselves now, rather than wait until something could become more of a problem, and they've got that association. So the king was, I think, very sensible. What is it they say? Forewarned is forearmed, kind of thing.
Yes.
So I think he's just been sensible.
Yeah. So you think that the king has been tipped off that there is worse
Absolutely.
to come, and this is there is loads more to come. This is just the first 300,000 overnight. It's worrying. Now, obviously, I mean, Andrew, you know, the FBI have been asking to talk to Andrew since 2019, I believe, and he's point blank refused to do so. We do know that he paid Virginia Giuffre, who was the woman that made these allegations, I think £12 million, but he's refused to talk to the FBI. I mean, do you think at some point he will have to?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of questions. I mean, why pay the money if you're innocent? And this is just my view, is why would he have paid the money? And as you said, he's refused for those interviews, which is really interesting because our governments and the American governments work closely together. Our royal family has got a good relationship with the presidents of America. And it's extraordinary that where they're asking, you know, they just want to interview him and ask some questions. And you would think that the government or the royal family, they'd be encouraging that. But obviously, Andrew, at no point wanted to do that. And maybe he felt that in his own head, maybe he thinks he's done nothing wrong and there's nothing to be interviewed about. But that's not, I think, what they're just wanting is to get his probably views and get his kind of witness statement, if you like. And I would have thought that would have been a straightforward thing to do. So again, that also, I think, brings questions into it. And as you've said quite rightly, he's not been found guilty by any means. But it's this thing where there's so many parts that just don't make sense and something's not adding up.
It's a permanent smell around the whole thing that you would have thought, like, you know, well, maybe he's tried that before with the famous Emily Maitlis TV interview where he thought he was clearing his name and he just dug a bigger hole for himself. Maybe that's what's put him off.
Possibly. And I also notice, if you realise that the one thing the royal family keep trying to say, or the office say, is let's focus on the work that the king's doing, let's focus on the good, let's focus on and I think they're trying to not brush it under the carpet. I think they're trying to move away from it, trying to, again, distance themselves. Going back to this again, where I think they're aware of what's to come, and they're just trying to show the world that the royal family, you know, that they're a good family, they do a lot of good, and this is obviously I don't know what you'd call it, a bad egg in the kind of the lot, you know, if you like.